Shauna, recovering with Gunther.
And I'm Gunther, recovering with my wife, Shauna. In the interest of time, we will dispense with individual introductions. However, when sharing later in the meeting, please introduce yourself and tell us where you live.
Let's open the meeting with the we version of prayer.
And if you want, you can unmute.
God,
God,
Grant us
us
serenity
Accept
courage to change,
change
to repent, and wisdom to know the difference.
Many RCA members have found their program of recovery added by sharing their story. Today, Barton and Rebecca have agreed to share with us, and we want to acknowledge and affirm their courage in doing so. The group is responsible to be loving, caring, and accepting without judging.
Okay, so it's the introduction time. So you just
Okay.
do that.
I just would say a few sentences. Sean and I, we are in RCA and mainly in the Trailblazer meeting for roughly 5 years now. And we have seen quite a few couples come and go, unfortunately also go. Barton and Rebecca are, I think, pretty much the same time with us in the Trailblazer meeting, and they were quite consistently in this meeting. And that's what I think, not only I think Shauna also really appreciates this consistency together with this beautiful sense of humor. This I really like a lot. And for what I always see is this respect for each other. And for the clarity, when they speak, I know this is program. This is the clarity I really like. And for other facts, I give the mic to Shauna.
Okay, so Barton and Rebecca have 2 home groups, the Sunday night phone meeting and the Sunday morning Zoom meeting. That's the Trailblazers. They have been in RCA for 22 years and counting.
Whoa.
Their service opportunities include phone meeting representatives for RCA San Francisco Convention, group representatives for Santa Barbara area. They've started many RCA meetings in Santa Barbara, and though none survived, they did. They've held many service positions for the Sunday evening phone meeting and have done many 12-step meetings of 4 for new couples. And some final thoughts: they were attending 3 conventions, have attended many weekend retreats up and down the California coast, have co-sponsored many couples, and are regular attendees and participants at their home groups.
Great that you are here, Barton and Rebecca. Thank you very much. Remember, Barton and Rebecca, that we are here for you. May your higher power grant you serenity.
Okay.
Do we need a timer?
no, we don't.
No timer?
No.
Okay.
My name is Barton, in coupleship with Rebecca.
And Rebecca in coupleship with Barton, sorry.
And we just found the password, so we are glad to be here. Rebecca is going to read the safety guidelines and explain a little bit why we are reading those to start the meeting.
Okay, RCA safety guidelines. Anonymity and mutual respect of boundaries are essential to providing a healing experience to each of us. Most of us have had great difficulty establishing our boundaries, assertiveness, and personal space. We are sensitive to crosstalk. Our purpose is not to give advice nor to try to fix one another, but rather to create a safe environment where we can experience and share our pain. We have found that 1, it is okay to feel; 2, it is okay to make mistakes. 3, it is okay to have respectful conflict. 4, it is okay to have needs and ask for them to be met. 5, it is important to respect others, partners, and others in the group. It is important to avoid self-righteous statements, baiting or button-pushing statements, case-building statements, and the taking or sharing of another person's inventory. It is important to respect ourselves and to avoid self-put-downs and self-pity. It is helpful to take ownership of our own story and to take credit for our progress and work in recovery. 7, anonymity is our spiritual foundation. Whom you see here, what you hear here, when you leave here, let it stay here. We have care and concern for ourselves and our coupleships. We meet to both receive and provide the nurturing our relationships need to grow and endure. For that reason, it is important for us to act and speak respectfully to our partners and others. As we do this, we value the group and the relationships within it. I wanted to read that because my recovery involves listening to literature from whatever 12-step program I'm involved in. And this particular relatively short piece of literature has really directed my recovery with my husband in RCA. We've looked at this and read this for all the years that we've been involved in RCA and found it sound and wise. So yeah, that's the reason why I've read that, because we're going to be referring to it during our shares. Thank you.
And this is Barton and Rebecca. If we had a story title for our story, it would come from a meeting room in Longmont, Colorado. In the ceiling tiles, they take them down and they put various sayings like the Serenity Prayer and stuff on it. But the one that I like the best shows a hand reaching out of the top with the big book on it in the hand, and just the 3 words: sit down, relax, this is going to take a little while. And that would be our story title. What it was like for me before RCA, the main thing I'd like to stress is just, first of all, the church. I was raised in an ultra-conservative fundamentalist church, and over the course of 2 theological degrees, 2 ordinations and 2 denominations, and serving many dysfunctional churches, etc. There was a lot of spiritual, emotional, and mental abuse. And, you know, I work with that on a daily basis. I got a lot of good. And of course, one of the things that I learned from that went into recovery, our particular little branch of Christianity said that we were the only Christians. So of all the Christians in the world, we represented maybe the fly on the tail of the elephant. And all the other Christians were going to hell. So when I came into recovery, I knew, although people told me there's only one program in which to recover in. And I knew that wasn't true because I've always experienced the one. Second thing I'd like to say, instead of going into detail, I'd like to just to give you the meetings, fellowships that I am a part of, have attended, or do attend. And you can put the dot to dot with the meetings. So my chemical programs, I started in Narcotics Anonymous. I moved on to Alcoholics Anonymous, and my home fellowship there is Cocaine Anonymous. I'm also a member of Al-Anon. I am a member of Sex Addicts Anonymous, Sex and Love Addicts Anonymous, Debtors Anonymous, Overeaters Anonymous, Adult Children of Anonymous. And that's only because I haven't run into any more programs in Santa Barbara. So it was not hard for us when we found RCA.
Well, my story of how it was for me was acting out in different forms with the first husband, divorcing him, trying it with his second husband, divorcing him. And Barton and I have known each other since high school. And I ran into his mother one day at a restaurant, and she took my phone number, and the next day Barton called me, and that was 10 years before we got married. And when we decided to get married, which was a story in and of itself, I committed to one program out of that list of ones that he just gave you. I said, okay, I'll marry you, I'll do one. And so I moved from Colorado to California to be with this person that I really, 10 years on the telephone didn't really teach me what it would be like to live with him. So that first year was really pretty rocky. And in that first year, we found a friend of Barton's brought us a starter kit from RCA. And we both knew anyway that about 3 months before we got married, we had settled in on a beach and we were talking about relationships and admitted to each other that we knew nothing about a relationship. I knew nothing about a relationship, and he agreed with that statement. So when we got the book from RCA and the starter kit, that's what we did. We started. And I'm going to hand that part of the story over to Barton.
Okay, so I'm going to back up because there's another part of my story before RCA. Of course, with all of my theological background, etc., coming into recovery, a higher power sounded extremely blasphemous and ridiculous. But I didn't come in to recovery to find God, so I just took God off the back burner, put him back up in the cupboard behind the can of peas and vegetables and stuff, and really didn't think much about a higher power. I just followed simple directions, and my higher power did two things for me that are totally amazing. The first, and they relate to my story and relate to RCA specifically. The first one was after I got into recovery, my aunt, who was my father's sister, wrote me a letter. And in the letter, she wrote that my mother had already had 2 children. She didn't want a third one. She carried me the whole 9 months, not wanting a third child. I almost died in the hospital with a heart attack, and my aunt then relayed to me as well just how little my mother wanted me. Was my crib was the bottom of a dresser drawer, and I've heard it mentioned on this on Story Share before, being carried in the womb like that and not being wanted has an effect that cannot be erased. It can be changed, it can be shed new light on, but it's there. And by the way, my aunt, when I told her about this letter a couple years later, she denied any knowledge of it, didn't remember writing it or anything. But my higher power gave it to me, and I found that quite interesting, didn't get mad at anybody. Then a little while later, my mother wrote me a letter, and it didn't start out the normal way. It said, sometimes things weren't always what they were supposed to be. And I thought, gosh, where's she going? Well, she said, when you were a baby, you were very sick, and the doctor didn't have any idea what was wrong with you. So he suggested touch him as little as possible. And so little as possible was probably changing diapers and changing my bed and feeding me. I got just enough touch to stay alive, but as we all know in this day and age, touch is really important, and it really played a big part in all of my addictions, and it plays a big part in my recovery. So moving along then to that kit, the starter kit for RCA, I had a friend in Sex Addicts Anonymous that went to a convention in Seattle, and he came back with an RCA starter kit. And he simply said, you know, none of us are in the program are even dating, let alone thinking about getting married, and you're getting married, so here's a kit. And so what we did was, you know, we opened the box, we pulled out the book, and we started we started a meeting of two. We read the safety guidelines. We did a meeting of two. We read the safety guidelines. There was no face-to-face meetings. We didn't go to a face-to-face meeting until late fall. And there was no sponsor, there was no nothing. We just took out the sheet of paper like it said and started following the simple instructions. And it's been an interesting journey doing that simple way. People would see us in different programs and they would say to us, oh, the third year must be the charm. And I would always say to them, as Rebecca would say, no, if we did the first two marriages, if we do the third marriage like we did the first two, we would have gotten the same results. We had to change. But the other interesting thing about just getting started and doing it and continue doing it, I remember now, people would say, oh, I can't wait to get into a relationship, or I can't wait to get married so I can go to RCA too. Unfortunately, RCA, as you already know, is the hardest 12-step program there is on the planet. And every one of those people that said, oh, I can't wait to get into RCA, couldn't wait to get out of RCA. And none of them have ever stayed. Even the gentleman that gave me the starter kit never made it. Still in recovery, but not with RCA. You want to share?
Sure.
Okay.
Excuse me. Hang on a second. I'm going someplace here with this. Barton mentioned the first meeting that we went to in the fall. One meeting was up in San Jose, which was an RCA meeting with at least 15 couples, and that was really, really impressive. And I was thinking, oh, this is really cool. But then we found a couple down in LA, off of off the RCA website, that we called them and we asked them if we could come down for a meeting, and they said, oh, sure, we'll get a meeting started somehow. So we went to their house, and it was a pivotal moment for me, which is one of the reasons why I bring it up. The couple, his program that he was in was Sex Addicts Anonymous, and he had acted out, oh, I don't know, 3 weeks before the meeting. And in my family of origin, my dad was unfaithful to my mother from before they got married even. And by the time I was born, they'd been married almost 18 years by the time I was born, and I was the youngest. And what I saw was my dad retreating and my mother doing a lot of yelling. And, you know, I never saw any compassion in the family. I never saw any, you know, just sweet, gentle hugs between my parents at all. What my dad would do would be peck my mom on the cheek, and out he'd go. And he worked long hours. He was a doctor, so he was, you know, he could go on baby calls in the middle of the night, and then we'd not see him until the next evening. So to see the couple that in whose home we were in to actually be sitting on the same sofa in the same room was a real shocker. And then by the end of the meeting, they were actually sitting together. She was owning her part of the problems in the relationship, and he was owning his. And they were sitting there comfortable with each other and no chaos. And as we drove home from LA back up to Santa Barbara, things were real quiet in the car until Barton said, "Well, Rebecca, how are you doing?" And I said in a very little girl voice, "I'm in the back seat under the covers." I really didn't know how to handle that. So that has been a huge process of growth for me, because all I knew how to do was slam doors and scream at my husband, because that was what I saw. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to read the safety guidelines, is because you know, there's a line in there about respectful conflict. No, not in my family. So for me to learn how to do that, we had to go through several years of meetings of two before I was comfortable with that, the prayer, the safety guidelines, and actually telling my feelings, so that we could go from that without the chaos and go to something that would resolve and solve issues that we had between us as a couple. I'm really grateful for the safety guidelines. Okay, I'm done for now.
Okay, so that was an interesting meeting, because it showed me the love of people in RCA. When I called this guy, I said, you know, we're up in Santa Barbara, can we attend a meeting? And the guy said, sure, we'll have a meeting Saturday night. Well, what I didn't know was that they didn't have a meeting. The meeting had been disbanded, but he called another couple, so we had 3 couples, and we had a meeting just for us. And yes, it was, I ever since I've been in recovery, I have thought, okay, if I slip in any of my programs, like Cocaine Anonymous, I could probably get back into the relationship. But if I slip in Sex Addicts Anonymous, it would be over. You know, it's just, you can't work it out. And to see this couple go from end of the couch to the middle of the couch was just unbelievable. And, you know, they did the principle that has changed my life, and that is we're each 100% responsible for the good, the bad, and the ugly in the relationship. And both of them admitted where they were and what they were going to do about it. And by the way, like I said, we've been married for 22 years. I've rewritten what I wanted to say 4 or 5 times, and it's impossible to put 22 years into 30 minutes or so. So I'm going to move right ahead to a tool that we use that we didn't even realize was a tool. And I hear it all the time, you know, there's no meeting in our face-to-face meeting and stuff. And what Rebecca and I did, we went to meetings together. So we would go to open AA meetings. And if that wasn't possible, then Rebecca became an alcoholic and we could go to alcoholic meetings together. She's only gone to one Cocaine Anonymous meeting with me. That scared the crap out of her. So, but we moved along. And the one meeting she agreed to was Debtors Anonymous, because I filed bankruptcy, she did bankruptcy, and not only did we not know anything about a relationship, we didn't know anything about money. So we went to Debtors Anonymous together, and a person suggested, well, you ought to get this book. And we went to the bookstore and came back and said, oh, we can't find it. And they just chuckled and said, well, you got to go to an Al-Anon meeting to find that book. So we went to an Al-Anon meeting, and for years we've gone to Al-Anon together. We've gone to Overeaters Anonymous together, Adult Children of Alcoholics together. We have gone so much in meetings that we're very comfortable talking about all of our crap together in the room. And we've got into no small amount of trouble from people who said afterwards, we didn't know it was relayed to us, he shouldn't share that in front of his wife in a meeting. Well, shoot, we already know, we're comfortable talking. So, you know, what I found out in writing all this down is that if we could just go to a meeting together, it was better. You know, we have done some face-to-face meetings, started some, you know, did the convention, things like that. But, you know, in Santa Barbara and the surrounding area, we're known as a couple. We have our individual programs, but we're a couple. And that's just been fantastic. And I'll just mention one more tool and then turn it over to Rebecca for a couple tools, and then we got one final thing. So you see, this is a can. It's a Costco coffee can at Christmas time. And what this can is for is our higher power is in this can. I don't understand it, but it is. So what we do when we have a problem or a solution, what we need to do is, and we did it for this meeting and things, we write it on a piece of paper, open the lid, put it in and put it in. It's a God can. It's amazing how God fits in there and works out the problem. And by the way, if you ever get a God can, don't ever go back through it. That's a no-no. We did put, I believe, an unsolvable problem in this can. I do not think higher power can fix it. We have a cat. The cat is an indoor-outdoor cat. Somebody is feeding the cat bad food and he's upchucking in our house. So we put it in the God can. We don't think that you can handle this, God, but would you tell those people to stop feeding the cat, either stop the cat from eating, but if he does eat it, would he upchuck in somebody else's house? By the way, what we do with all of this, and we have, I don't think we have 10, maybe 9 of these cans. I have my can, she has her cans, and we have our cans. And what we'll do when we can't get any more little piece of paper, we go down to the beach and we start a fire in one of the fire pits, and we offer them up to God and hope we don't start a forest fire that burns down Santa Barbara. And we just offer them up as incense to God. It's a great tool, a God can, because we can't, but God can. You want to do that tool? The milestone dates or the
Being of service.
being of service.
Okay. Hi, this is Rebecca. He's actually stewed over this quite a bit, so it's been put back in the can a couple of times. And in the meantime, I've just been kind of laid back and okay, we'll do it. It'll turn out fine. So the tool that I wanted to talk about is being of service. And you know, I heard about this in one of my individual meetings just the other day, and you know, Gunter and Shauna gracefully read all the things that we had to report that we'd done. But I think the major thing that we've done is show up at meetings and shared. You know, it's secrets shared with other people are out in the open and they're not secrets anymore. So it's really a good thing to do when you're in a meeting if you can. If it's not, you know, the Zoom meetings have been really amazing. The Al-Anon meeting I'm going to at this point in time, sometimes it's on the telephone. I haven't been able to go to regular face-to-face meetings for several years. And there are more than 100 people on the telephone. So you can't share in an hour. You can't have 100 people share in an hour. Even if you cut the shares back to 2 minutes like we've done for Trailblazers, it's just not possible. So being at a meeting, listening, and sharing are three things that go into the being of service box for me that I don't hear very often. You know, it's usually, well, we, you know, it has to be something like we were president or something. But anyway, and the other thing I wanted to talk about was the abandonment issues. For me, as well as for Barton, I was the youngest and not wanted. Yeah, my dad wasn't even around when I was born. So he would show up, like I said, sometimes 24 hours after having delivered a baby or so. And that leaves a huge scar. So we both have huge abandonment issues, and I can't fix him and he can't fix me, and we don't expect each other to fix each other, especially since we've learned that, you know, in RCA, we just share that pain. We express it and share it, and then it lessens. It doesn't go away, it lessens. And then we wanted to do our vows for you guys. Oh, we're not at the stopping point yet. Okay, Barton's got something else on his mind.
Yes, on my mind, because it asked for a password and we've never had to give a password. Everything went out of my head. So first of all, I want to thank Gunter and Shauna for introducing us. I want to thank all the people that helped us get to this point. And I want to welcome any newcomers. You know, you're a newcomer until you've had at least 20 years. So I just want to welcome everybody. And before Rebecca goes into our vows, I finally figured out what the problem of marriage is. It's too damn long. You know, forever or for death, it's just too long. And so
one day at a time.
Oh yeah, so I have ADD, and it's fun. Everybody ought to live with somebody with ADD. It makes it more exciting. Anyway, what I learned in early recovery and I've held on to is one day at a time. One day at a time. And so we get married for one day. So at night, we take our rings off. And in the morning, I ask Rebecca if she will marry me. She has the right to say no. And early on, she said no many times. So I didn't wear my rings to work. And then I'd come home for lunch, and I am a persistent cuss. And she thought about me not wearing my rings. And so I would ask her again, and she would say yes. Okay.
Well, you have to start it.
Oh, okay. So anyway, so what we want to do to conclude our little thing is our vows. So what we do is we ask each other if we want to get married. If we both say yes, then we go through our vows. And so that's how we want to conclude. Because, you know, there was times early on, I would look at my watch and say, it's 10:30 in the evening. I can make it another hour and a half. And then, of course, the next morning I'd wake up and I'd forget about last night and I'd ask her again. So we're going to try to do this and hope you can hear and see. So, because I haven't asked her yet today, and I don't know what her answer will be. Rebecca, will you marry me today?
Yes, will you marry me?
Yes, I'll marry you. Will you sleep with me tonight?
Yes. Will you sleep with me?
Yes. Will you be my friend, lover, and multi-buddy?
Yes, will you be my friend, lover, and multi-buddy?
Yes. I love, honor, and respect you. I encourage your own fulfillment. I commit to our coupleship and I commit to our couple recovery. Thank you, anger. Thank you, rage. Thank you, unexpected happenings. Thank you, pandemic. Thank you, grief. And thank you, ADD.
Where's my ring? Do I get to put yours on?
Well, yeah.
Okay, so my part in that is, yes, I will marry you all day today, except October the 3rd, 2020. Like you, love you, and respect you all day today. Commit to our coupleship, commit to our friendship, commit to all things healthy around food, commit to becoming free from under-earning and under-earning perspectives, and thank you, anger, thank you, rage, thank you, shame, thank you, grief, thank you, like, thank you, love, thank you, respect, thank you, smoke, and thank you, fibromyalgia. And give me your finger. Hold still.
Oh, good. All right, here's for another day. And with that, we want to thank you all for coming today. Topic?
Yeah.
The topic, tools. Yeah, tools. Tools is a good topic. So, or anything else. But again, thank you for letting us share and thank you for listening.
So thank you, Barton and Rebecca, so much for sharing your story with us. We now invite members of the group to share how the story applies to their own recovery. Please unmute, introduce yourselves, and tell us where you are from.
No, I'm supposed to say something, but first I have to say thanks a lot. I really appreciate it every second. We have this I don't know, is it speaker view? So you're really big in on our screen, and I enjoy it every second. So yes. Thanks again. For what I have to say now is, for those on Zoom, your microphone in the lower left-hand corner of your screen has a red line through it. If you wish to share, please click on it and unmute yourself. Click on it again to mute yourself.
Okay, the meeting's open for sharing.
This is Mark, the facilitator. If you will go to the bottom of your screen where it says participants and click on raise your hand, I will call on you in the order that you have requested to speak. We're going to start with Randy and recovery with Patty.
Hi, Barton and Rebecca, thank you so much for being our storytellers and lead couple speakers. And just so blessed to have known you guys as a couple, and way back